Hello coaches, Coach Allie here. Today we're going to talk about formation. As you head into your second week of games, this could be very helpful for you. In the U8 and U10 age groups, we want to provide the kids with a formation that will allow it to be easier for them as they transition into the older age groups. Something that will replicate 11 players on the field, even though we only have 8 players on the field. So here's a great formation to do for that. A 3-3-1. 3 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 1 forward. This is great because as we add 3 players on the field, when we get to 11 aside, all we need to do is add a center back, a center mid, and a forward, which does not really change the dynamic of the game, doesn't change the jobs of everybody in the different positions. It's very easy to transition into as they get older. So let's talk about who's going to go where for your team. Up the field, our center defender, our center midfielder, and our forward are going to be those players who are most around the ball. So it's very important that these 3 players are your more dominant players on the field. They have the job of supporting the people around them. They are just going to be involved in the game more than anyone else. So we want to make sure that these 3 players are our more dominant players on the team. Now, you may have a player on your team who's very dominant, who tends to drift wide, who likes the outside of the field. And as a coach, you need to decide whether it benefits the team more to have them in their more natural position. Are they able to influence the game more where they feel more comfortable? Or does the team need to have them in a central role, even if it's not their most comfortable place? So that's a decision that you're going to have to make for your team. Now, if you're playing a game and you feel pretty confident, your back line's holding it down pretty well, and you'd like to advance into a more attacking mode, you can take your wide players and push them forward and play more of a 3-1 and then 3 across the top. This will give you a much more attacking dynamic in the game if you think you can do it, and it all depends on who you're playing against in that day. So, as we get into a 4-4-2, one thing that can be helpful for your team is to play more of a sweeper, drop this player back a little bit, and a stopper. So you stagger your 2 center defenders to help cover this space in front and this space behind and help sweep behind these 2 players. Also, if you'd like to have a more attacking dynamic, as you add players in the field, you can add a center back, and instead of adding a center mid and a forward, you can add a forward on each side and play a 4-3-3. This is another very good formation for 11 aside. Again, it all depends on your personnel. Do you have a center midfielder who can control the center of the field by themselves? Do you have really attacking minded but wide players that would be useful up top? Do you have a defender, one defender who can hold down the center back alone, or do they need help? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. But the skeleton of it all remains the same. We need wide players on each side. We need a center back. We need a center mid. We need a center forward. Where you add those extra players in all depends on the personnel that you have. Good luck.